Texas Tech comes into town to cap off the regular season in Texas's final run through the Big 12. Hey, folks, and welcome into the Horns 24/7 game preview. Tommy Yarsh alongside the mayor of Austin, Texas, the legend Chip Brown. Chip, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Tommy? Happy Thanksgiving to you and
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you watching here with us. Let's go ahead and break down this Friday night game against the Red Raiders. Starting off, last meeting in 2022, Texas fans certainly don't want to remember the 37-34 loss in overtime. Donovan Smith and the Red Raiders certainly moving the ball around very well, and fourth down conversions were the nail in the ankle for Texas. Texas Tech, Taj Brooks, the third best running back in FBS in the rushing yards category, 1,348 yards coming into this ball game. And Texas against the Red Raiders has won 7 out of the last 10. All right, Chip, let's go ahead and start with Taj Brooks against the Texas run defense. It seems like, this is going to be one of the better running backs that Texas has faced all season, but you could also argue that Texas has faced phenomenal running backs from start to finish this year. How do you see this matchup shaping out on Friday, considering last year when Texas's run defense, I would argue, was nowhere near as good as they were this year? Brooks goes for 12 carries and 36 yards.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know about Taj Brooks, he is a clone of Jonathan Brooks. Texas's running back who is out for the season with the torn ACL. So this is the marquee matchup. Taj Brooks against the Texas run defense, which is ranked number 4 in FBS and is on pace to be the best run defense since 2009, the last time Texas won a Big 12 title. So unless you're counting the Brett Yormark channeling Vince McMahon from last August and his appearance with Joey McGuire at that Red Raider kickoff luncheon when he said, no pressure, Joey, but I'll be at that game, that Texas game for Thanksgiving. You need to handle business just like you did in Lubbock this past year. Steve Sarkisian, by the way, said, I hope we put on a good show for the Big 12 commissioner. I mean, we want him to be proud of us. We're still part of the Big 12 right now. So little extra shark chum in the water for the Longhorns. Joey McGuire also ran his mouth at that August Red Raider kickoff luncheon. So outside of Brett Yormark channeling Vince McMahon, the best matchup in this game should be T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. Hopefully they saved up a little of that aggression that they had last week in Ames, Iowa, when they held Iowa State to 9 yards rushing. Hopefully they saved up a little bit of that aggression for Taj Brooks, because Taj Brooks is no joke. 86 forced missed tackles, leads college football in forced missed tackles, according to Pro Football Focus. So, in fact, he's run for 1,348 yards, and 855 of those yards have come after contact. So more than half of his total rushing yards for this season have come after contact. So Texas is going to have to swarm the football and make sure they get Taj Brooks to the ground.
Brooks has certainly been impressive. And speaking of impressive, Texas going into this game needs to do some impressing to the college football playoff committee. They're still sitting at that number 7 spot. We'll touch on that a little bit more in a second. More importantly, the main goal for Texas right now is making it to the Big 12 championship game. If they win on Friday, they're locked into it. If they lose, there's a whole trifecta, probably more, of different scenarios that would happen for the Longhorns to punch their ticket to Arlington. So, Chip, not only is it important to get into the Big 12 championship game, but the college football playoff. Texas, according to the committee, is the second best one-loss team in America, with Oregon still in front of them. Now, obviously, if they win big in this game and Oregon struggles against Oregon State, could that move Texas past the Ducks. Would that be enough to convince the College Football Playoff Committee that the Longhorns deserve to be the best one-loss team in the country?
Yeah, I don't understand this committee's way of thinking. Like Texas has a better resume than Oregon right now. Oregon hasn't beaten anybody. So this is concerning if you're Texas that Oregon seems to be living off of its near win, but close loss to Washington. So that and the fact that it took them forever to move Washington ahead of Florida State. Florida State, whose marquee win came against LSU in the opener. So I don't understand what this committee's thinking. So yeah, it is time to be impressive, to get those style points if you can. And one thing we know about Texas, it seems, is that you're going to get a really good stretch of football from them every game, and you're going to get a chugs or a Tums chugging stretch of football. And against Wyoming, Kansas, Iowa State, that Tums chugging football happened early in the game, and then they finished strong. Obviously, against Houston, K-State, TCU, they played really good football early, and then the Tums chugging football came late. They just need to put 4 quarters together and make Texas Tech one-dimensional, get pressure on quarterback Baron Morton, who's a lot like Rocco Becht and Josh Hoover. He can extend some plays with his legs, and he can get hot. And Texas just doesn't need another quarterback to get hot in this game with everything on the line.
Chip, real quickly, as far as the college football playoff is concerned, I'm curious as if you think the same way as I do, but it really seems like if Texas just wins out, they beat Texas Tech and they win the Big 12 championship, they more than likely have a spot. Because you look at rivalry week this week, you've got Ohio State and Michigan playing. The winner of that game is probably going to win the Big 10 championship they're in. If Florida State wins the ACC, which without Jordan Travis, that could be a tall task, they would probably be in. Then your SEC champion is probably going to be in. And if it's Oregon and Washington in the last 2 spots, I mean, I think Texas has a better resume, especially if Oregon beats Washington in the Big 12 championship game. So, it seems like if they win out, they're in a good spot, but we'll have to see what happens from now on. Going back to the present, on Friday, a big night for Texas seniors. They've got 25 players walking on senior night. Just some notable names: T'Vondre Sweat, Jahdae Barron, Jalen Ford, Jordan Whittington. Chip, we mentioned how this is a game where Texas needs to impress. They need to get those style points. On a night like senior night, where you're saying goodbye to so many quality players who have done a bunch for Texas football, does that add a little bit more of an extra oomph to how Texas wants to play this game, especially considering the overtime loss in Lubbock last year?
Well, you've got these studs who are part of that 25 who are going to walk for senior night. You just mentioned a bunch of them. And guys like Jordan Whittington and Christian Jones came back. Whittington for his 5th year, Christian Jones for his 6th year, to win a Big 12 title. So I think they'll be able to put the emotion of senior night behind them and realize what an opportunity they have, because they've been grinding all season for this opportunity to get into that Big 12 title game and win it. And so that's what I'm expecting to see. And, I've heard some Texas fans say, oh, I'd be okay if Texas won the Big 12 title and they didn't get into the college football playoff. No, get your voodoo dolls out, get your Ouija boards out, and throw some black magic onto Florida State and Oregon and get your team into the playoff, because you're not going to have a bunch of these guys next year. Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, J.T. Sanders all could turn pro. Byron Murphy could turn pro. We know that T'Vondre Sweat's leaving, and Christian Jones and Jordan Whittington, but these are special players. This is a special team. You don't get windows like this very often. Look at Texas has won 3 Big 12 titles, including the very first one in 1996. That's it. Um, these opportunities, when you have the team to win it, you need to win it. And then you need to get into the college football playoff, because this Texas defense can play with anyone. I mean, let's say Georgia's the number 1 seed and Texas is the 4 seed in the college football playoff, and you got the Adonai Mitchell Bowl. And look, Texas can hang with teams because of their defense. TCU last year was giving up 29 points per game. Texas is giving up 18. This is a better constructed Texas team, ready for battle against the top programs in the nation. You got skill talent, Quinn Ewers. I mean, look, just laser focus on senior night and realize what's ahead of you. Texas Tech is going to be, all wild with Joey McGuire. Remember last year, they played each other in the Big 12 opener, and Joey McGuire had not shown a propensity to go for it on 4th down until he played Texas. And then they went for it 8 times and converted 6. And, a bunch of those conversions led to points in that Tech win in overtime when, Bijan Robinson, it was only like, his 3rd fumble of his career or something. But bottom line is, this is what you've been working for all season. So laser focus. And for the fans, take it all in and enjoy these 25 kids who are walking for senior night, because like I said, it's hard to find Tavondre Sweat out there. It's hard to find Byron Murphy and Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell. So take it all in, enjoy every moment. That's what Jordan Whittington said this week, that he's savoring every moment, and let's see how Texas can, enter the postseason.
I almost called you Coach Chip Brown there. You had me wanting to run through a wall for a moment there. That was a great, yeah, there you go. That was a great speech. Going back to Jordan Whittington very quickly, head to horse247.com. Our guy Chip wrote a really good piece about him wanting to come back for that other year. Whittington had a good piece in the Players Tribune as well, but not at the tip of the cap to Chip as well for his piece earlier today. All right. As always, everyone's favorite segment, game predictions. Chip, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've had a funny feeling all week that Texas is going to handle business in this game. And my only question has been how many points Texas Tech is going to get. I think I turned in for my prediction, Texas 31, Texas Tech 20. I'm not sure Tech is going to get to 20. I might need to amend that to 31-17. Tommy, how about you?
Well, going back to that Iowa State game very quickly, I was listening to Late Kick with Josh Pate earlier this week, and he said that it kind of felt like a blowout. And I kind of thought the same thing on Saturday night in Ames watching that game, because, really what I think changed it from, okay, Texas is dominating this game, to, okay, on the scoreboard, it looks like Iowa State kept it close, was that 4th down fake play, which was a great play call where Iowa State just kind of flips it over the middle to a tight end and he runs wide open for a touchdown. But other than that, I think Texas played a very complete game. And like Chip just said, they handled business. I think they're going to handle business on Saturday. I'm going to go as far to say this is the first game we see Texas play 4 complete quarters of football. I think this is another dominant victory, kind of like the one back in 2021. I don't think they score as many points, but I think Texas wins at 42, Texas Tech 17. I think Taj Brooks gives this Texas defense not a run for their money per se, but a challenge in comparison to some of the other running backs they faced this year. I don't think Texas Tech is only going to rush for 9 yards like Iowa State did last week, but it's good for Texas to face a guy like Taj Brooks, because if they play a team like Oklahoma State, in the Big 12 championship game, they've got a hell of a running back in Ollie Gordon. So that would be a nice little warm up for a guy like him. All right, well,
Yeah.
that's going to do it. Sorry, did you have some, Chip?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And obviously if Texas wins and Oklahoma State beats BYU in Stillwater, Texas would be going up against Oklahoma State and Ollie Gordon.
Well, in all likelihood, and I'm not predicting anything, but that seems like that could be the Big 12 championship matchup. I'll take it back. I would predict that that's your Big 12 championship matchup come Sunday once the dust has settled. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Horns 24/7 YouTube channel. As always, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you are the first to know when new content heads your way. For Chip Brown, my name is Tommy Yars. Thanks for being with us. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.